hot and sweaty can be fun, but not when you're doing summer in a van.
Today we're looking at doing some modifications that should keep our food, and most importantly our internal living space, much cooler.
We've also managed to gain some outdoor living space for less than £100.
The first thing we wanted to do is make sure that our fridge stays cool. Let me show you what we've got. So Vitrifrigo 115i. We found it to be really good unless it's hot, in which case it can struggle. In here we've got your normal shelves, normal things. We get 2 weeks of shopping in here at an absolute push. There's also a freezer compartment, which, like I said, when it's not too hot, works really well. When it is hot, it can struggle. I'm doing 2 mods today to this. So the first is an unusual one that I found on YouTube that apparently reduces the energy consumption by 30% and also keeps the temperature cooler in here. First of all, you need to understand the anatomy of how this fridge works. Inside the fridge, you've got shelves, you've got the freezer unit at the top, and the way that it works is that all of the cool air is actually cascaded down from the top over to the food and everything that's on the fridge below it. So this tray physically stops that from being as efficient as it could be, albeit it is supposed to be for a drip tray. So we're going to drill 3 holes in it to allow that airflow, better movement within the fridge, to see what difference that makes first. It's a bit strange drilling into a perfectly good shelf. Hello mate, you alright?
You alright?
Yeah, not bad. Good. Have you been knocking on the door?
YouTube.
No, you don't.
I do.
Do you really?
I thought I recognised the van.
Yeah, the van's
It
famous.
does some good work on that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's alright. I'm just doing some modifications to my fridge like a madman.
It's a beast, isn't it?
It's alright, yeah. We enjoy it, mate. We do enjoy it. Here we are. So we just had our shopping delivered and someone recognised us. We watch you on YouTube, so very pleased to meet you. Forgot to get your name, but we were having a good chinwag about his Citroen relay and how he's done it up. So yeah, first time that's ever happened in our hometown. Funny. Anyway, let's get this cleaned and installed. Close it up. Give it a while. See if it drops in temperature. Oh, before we do the next mod, we'll just get this lolly eaten because the freezer's door's been like open and it's going to defrost. So we'll just get this down us and then we'll pull the fridge out to do the next mod. Don't tell my daughter. So you can see up here on our Touch 50, if we switch it off, you can see that it is about 45 watts that it's drawing. The main thing is though, like the data shows us, we keep a Ruby tag in the fridge all the time, that the fluctuation when it's hot is just too much. Like I said, up to 10 degrees is just too much. We can't have it fluctuating that much. Now, I can't remember if we put this fridge in before we built this sofa or after. I think it was probably after. Let's see if we can even get the thing out. This could prove to be a tight squeeze, but it is van build reality. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm not supposed to get a fridge in it. Now, first thing to point out, the compressor behind it is hot. Like, hot to the touch. So, there's definitely efficiencies to be made here. Let me show you what I mean. Behind here, what you've got, essentially, you've got the compressor here, you have a fan here, you have a cooling radiator here, which looks a bit damaged, to be honest. The fins look a bit damaged, so we'll straighten those out. And then you have a fan on the left-hand side here. Feels like it's pulling air through there to cool this down. But this is hot, like it's hot to the touch. Surprisingly so, my gosh. So essentially, we're going to try and create a wind tunnel through this radiator, across this compressor, and then out down the hole. As I'm a bit of a nerd, I baseline the decibel to at 55.4 on average with this single fan running. This one here is dry fitted and it's not even plugged in. I've ended up with actually 3 fans. So one fan I'm going to run out through this hole that I've drilled in the floor. So I drilled a 60mm hole in the floor and I've meshed over that. I'm going to be drawing air out of that hole using a 120mm fan. That's going to be wired up to the standard controller, because the fans that I've found they draw about a third, well, less than a third. It's like 0.025 of an amp. So the three of them combined are going to actually use less energy than the one that's there, but because they're more efficient fans, the air moves actually more. But to do that, we have to take out the compressor, which is a little bit of a hairy task to do, because you don't want to bend any of the copper pipes. You could have just put one on the end here, I think. I want to replace this fan, add another one here, as well as use the one that's over in the corner over here. And so the next thing I need to do is put the wiring up for this extra fan. What you've got underneath here is these 4 clips. I think I'm going to need a little screwdriver. Suede out. You've got to be so careful because the copper on this is quite soft. So this is dangerous. Cal literally just says to me, please don't break the fridge. We're trying to fix it, not break it. This is like fraught with danger, but you can see that I've wiggled it out. Now what I'm doing is just carefully taking out a couple of these screws so I can wiggle the radiator out without bending the pipes, hopefully. Now that the pipes are bent out, you can see that I've managed to insert the new fan in the place of the old one using the same screws that were there, and putting it back together is simply a reverse of what you had there before. So now we've got one pushing air, one pulling air, and then we're going to have one going out of the floor. And amazingly, with all of these 3 running, the decibels showed an average of 50.7 or thereabouts, saving about 5 decibels. Whew, it's hot today, so that's that mod in. Fridge is back in secure. We're just going to let it get down to temperature and we can see what that variation is over the next 24 hours. Hopefully this will keep our fridge at a more constant temperature. That's the aim, because we don't want no food that's going to make us ill when we're away in those hot climates. So next thing we want to worry about is keeping ourselves cool whilst we're traveling, and we've got an upgrade that actually is based off of purchases we made in the past. We have 2 of these Calframo Scirocco 2 fans. One of them we run in here at night time. It's great for white noise, but also keeping you cool. So the good thing about these things is that they are on a gimbal, so you can move them around. And when they're on full speed, they only use like 0.4 amps of power, which obviously is really good. We've got one at the front as well to keep us cool when we're driving. Well, to keep our passengers cool as we're driving. But I don't have one. And they've come out with a new product over the last year or so that's going to allow me to do a bit of an upgrade. The borer, which I've got here to install today, is actually 24 volt. Because this one is 24 volt, it's going to be running at 0.24 amps when it's on speed number 3. And the design, as you can see, is quite different. So it looks more like the type of fan that you would have in your cabin. So these primarily you find them on boats actually. And the way that it's mounted is different. And then the way, I don't actually back to front, and the way that you switch it on is in the middle. And it's just like the gimbal fans where it will move around. So we're going to get it installed and then we'll see just how practical it is to use. All right, it's installed. Pretty simple to be fair. So I just had to take my old fan down, put 2 screws in to put the bracket on for this one, pull the cable through and orientate it to where I wanted it to go, which I'm hoping is the correct place. If not, it's got a little latch so you can move it around. But this one is this one's more fixed than the gimbal fans that are up there. A little luck. No, it's not working. Why is it working? There we are. So I've got mine on my ignition. So that's 1, 2, 3. It is hot today, fair play. That's going to be nice.
So in addition to those 3 fans, we also have our max air fan, which can extract hot air or pull in cold air from outside. We usually have it on extract because we like to pull in the cold air from our huge skylight.
However, we also need to think about how we're going to cool down and keep the bus cool itself. One of the best ways to do that is actually to stop the heat coming in the first place.
So we made, quite a while ago now, some thermal blinds. So it's just 3 layers of material. This is like the waterproof layer, and behind that there's like a reflective material. It just kind of looks like that silver bubble wrap stuff. And then I just edged it with some binding, and these ones have got magnets on, but some of our big ones have also got suction cups.
So that's all well and good, but it doesn't shade the outside. And one thing we've always wanted is an awning.
We were thinking originally that we were going to get a rollout awning, weren't we? But that one, they're really expensive, and 2, we've heard some horror stories, haven't we?
Yeah, we've actually been camping with some people, and it's got a bit windy at night, and it's sort of taken it away and damaged the awning and the van itself. So that's put us off a little bit, but we thought we would try and come up with our own sort of homebrew way of making our own awning. And it began actually about 1.5 years ago.
So when we had, not this year's MOT done, the year before, our MOT instructor was very strict and said we had to have an awning rail. So we had a small one, but now we've added it all the way along.
So big thanks to Dave. So he come around today and extended it. Did have a little bit of a mishap with one of our workbenches. What have you done to the workmate?
Eh?
What happened to the workmate?
You stood on it. I can still use it.
What for? And now we're ready to try and erect this thing. So we've bought a couple of things from Amazon to help us try and achieve this.
So first of all, we got some extendable poles, a tarpaulin, and these are, fingers crossed, going to be the fixings we're going to use.
The awning rail's got like a D, like slidey bit in it, and then these things slide into it, and then you tighten it up on itself, and that should be what we hook it onto.
Hopefully.
Initially we had to slide in those little hooky hooks into the awning rail, and then you tighten those up, so they're there forever now, in sort of the place where you've got the little eyelets.
And then we attached it to a carabiner, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's what we would take off each time we wanted to take it down.
Yeah, leave them on the tarpaulin itself.
Yeah.
And then we've got them on these extendable poles that you tighten by hand, and then just lash down with guide lines. The irony of all this, right, is that suddenly is however I politely put it, for weeks, right, and as soon as we get this out, it starts to rain.
And it's really windy.
And it's really windy. So it's our fault if it's raining where you are, anywhere in the world. It's because we've done this.
Yeah.
And so we've just paced it out. This would fit on sort of a normal 7 metre wide pitch. And you've got loads of room under here.
And if you wanted to make it smaller, we've got different holes in it, so we easily could, couldn't we?
Yeah, because we've seen like people like lash it down where it's more straight down to the ground, or the end sort of tapered down. So I think this will work really well. We also made sure we picked one that is a UV tarp. So this cuts out the sun's rays and reflects it away, so you don't get sunburnt. Because you can buy ones where you can still get burnt through them. Little factoid for you there, but yeah, it's huge. Let me just spin you around, I can show you. That's not bad at all, is it?
No, it's worked really well. Per usual, we didn't know if it was going to work, and it has, so we're happy.
Really happy.
Yeah.
Just got to pack it away now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been about a week since we did those mods. The fridge is performing really well. Today's an extremely hot day. You can see here that it's peaked at over 33 degrees outside, and the temperature inside has remained stable between sort of 1 to 2 degrees, which is impressive. And we've actually turned the fridge down as well, so we're using less energy. Keep you posted on how that's going on our upcoming trip to Europe. But I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. Any other tips for keeping cool, put them down in the comments, and you can watch more up here. But for now, thank you guys, take care.